Hello, everybody. This is the Google Hangout session with Lightning Strike, which is a Gilbert-based company. I'm Hillary Hirsch. I am the Economic Development Administrator for Business Retention and Expansion with the town of Gilbert. We will be interviewing our CEO, Judd Smith. Hi, Judd.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me today.
Thanks for joining. We're really excited to do this. Um, so, just a little note to our audience who's all listening. On the right-hand side of your screen, you can submit questions. Um, please feel free to send them in. You will not disrupt the session. Essentially, we'll just go through the questions as they come through. And in order to ask questions, just to let you know, you need to have a Google Plus account. So if you don't have that, it's really easy to submit, and you can essentially just start up your account very quickly. So feel free to submit any questions you have, and I'll remind everybody throughout the session too. So Judd, let's get started if that sounds good to you.
Absolutely.
So Lightning Strike here in Gilbert, they are a new category in the motorcycle safety world. So we've all heard of, gloves, helmets, typical safety gear, but what Judd has invented, he's the CEO and inventor, is a new type of category for motorcycle safety. So Judd, if you don't mind, can you please just tell us a little bit about Lightning Strike?
Yeah, let me tell you kind of how it started. I was an engineer at Honeywell for about 15 years, and when I retired, I started riding motorcycles, and I immediately discovered there was a problem with vehicles, drivers not seeing motorcycles, and it's due to their size and some various things that make it so that timing, all kinds of things prevent the driver from actually seeing the motorcycle. And unfortunately, there's a lot of accidents that occur due to a motorcycle not being seen. My background is aircraft safety and accident investigation. That's where I come from educationally. And I would get involved in some aircraft mishaps and things like that. One of the things they do in the aircraft world is they add lights and things to the aircraft so they can be seen obviously on the ground and in the sky. So as I'm riding my Harley down the road after I retired, thinking, this is all fun, I realized the dangers that were associated with that. So I went ahead and actually tried to get something online to see if I could just stick it on my bike to see if it would work, and nothing existed. So I kind of turned on the engineering mode again and put together a system that mounts to the front of the motorcycle that enables a car driver to see the motorcycle when it's approaching. And this system is not on all the time. It's only on in a momentary situation, kind of like a horn. You press a button on the handlebar, and when you do, the lights will light up. The idea being you get the you notify the driver that you're there, and this works good in any kind of a situation, whether you're coming on an intersection and someone's going to turn left, or maybe someone's pulling out of a grocery store or Walmart or whatever, and you need to become more visible. And if you ride, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you don't ride, this is good for you too, because it helps you identify the motorcycle out there. And, raise your hand if you want to hit a motorcycle. Nobody does, and you don't want to live with that. So we're really helping both sides of the traffic situation. And so we have developed proven concept and selling these systems nationwide and in other countries as well. And we attend a lot of the motorcycle events and trade shows to elevate the awareness of our product. And we're glad to have you guys doing this with us today, because that's exactly what this is doing too. If you're watching and you feel this is a viable product, which I think you will, please share that with people, anybody at any level, so that they can help. The goal here is to help motorcyclists become safer, reduce the statistics in traffic accidents, fatalities, and make the whole situation better for everyone.
That's great. So what is really unique about the problem that your company is trying to solve? Or do you have competitors, or are you virtually the only one out there?
I think if I said I didn't have competitors, I'd be in denial, because as I mentioned earlier, there's no product out here out there that does this for the civilian market. You'll see a similar product in the police and municipal markets. Um, but for the civilian market, this is a new category, and you can go and you can buy lights and you can do different things for motorcycle visibility to light up the road. That's kind of been the traditional thinking. Let's put some bright lights on, light up the road, and hope people see us. And that's good. What we do is we take it a step higher. Let's put some insane lights on the front of the bike. They're optical LEDs, and we are commanding the driver to see us versus actually lighting up the road. These are not really to light up the road. These are actually to let the driver see you. LED technology has come so far in such a short time that you can do so much with LEDs. If you remember back in not too long ago, police vehicles had those regular lights, and now you going down the freeway and you see an officer, those lights are bright. They've
Mm-hmm.
really they've really elevated the visibility of the motorcycle, and those are reducing traffic problems, accidents, and things. So we're just taking that over to the motorcycle in the civilian world. Um, so that is really, that's what we're doing in terms of competition. I'm sure somebody can do that. We do have our intellectual property protected through patent rights and things like that, both nationally and internationally. So we're here to save lives and do the best job that we can.
Thank you. So, just curious, when a police officer is entering an intersection and he uses his lights, does it confuse people? And so maybe the product that you have um, makes it easier for him to enter those intersections without confusing signals for.
Yeah, that's a good question. We actually we're involved with a lot of police type activities. We do donations. We have a lot of motor officers that also ride their bikes in a civilian world, and the police really tend to like the product. And um, one thing that we've learned, this would be kind of an unexpected result of our company. Again, we just went after the civilian market originally. The police officers, they like the system because if they go through an intersection without their red and blue lights on, they're just like you and I. They're just like everybody else. They have a white headlight and they're at the mercy of hoping that the vehicle sees the motorcycle. And so what we're doing, like in the Chandler Police Department, for example, we have systems installed on there. We're kind of mid-fleet right now doing the installs, and they find value because if they turn their reds and blues on going through an intersection, it causes some chaos. People don't know what to do. People want to yield
Mhm.
to the lights like the law tells them to, but sometimes that'll cause traffic to get snarled up. What we have learned is that the white and the amber lights tend to be a lower level of panic. You know what I mean? The police can hit those lights, get through the intersection without all the pandemonium that goes with the reds and blues. So there's value there for the municipal market.
That's great. Okay, so we just had a question submitted
Okay.
through Jennifer Graves, and she is asking, actually, let me answer this. So, what has been your distribution so far? How many groups or individuals are using your product? And do you have success stories you can share?
We have lots of success stories because interesting, when we first started out, I wasn't sure if it would work. And my prototype uh, worked very well. And I'm like, I think I have something here. And so that's when we went ahead and started protecting our patent rights because we knew we had something. We didn't know exactly to what extent, but it's really grown into a very popular product. Um, right now, we sell our systems online. You can also buy them through various motorcycle dealerships throughout the valley. They have them, they sell them and install them. As I mentioned, we have them on police vehicles as well. We don't sell through distribution channels right now. Typically, it's direct to like to the dealership, and then they sell to the consumer, or direct to the police department, and then we do the installs on their motorcycles. If that
Okay.
answers your question.
Yes. And then do you have any success stories?
I have lots of them. I have a customer who uh, was on a Can-Am Spider, if you know what that is, like a three-wheel, kind of those futuristic looking motorcycles. And by the way, we install
Hmm.
this on any brand, any make, any model. This gentleman was T-boned, and he nearly lost his life. And we met him at one of the motorcycle events, and he came up to us, and I could tell he had been through some trauma. And he was kind of pointing at the lights and wanting to vocalize. And long story short, he purchased the system. He believes in it, and he said he thinks had he had something like this, um, it might have saved that situation because the vehicle actually failed. The big problem is failure to yield, not seeing
Wow.
the motorcycle turning left in front of them. And so we have countless stories, people calling, emailing, um, testimonials, police officers. There's a lot of information that we're happy to share, that people validate, which again helps our proof of concept so that it validates what we're doing.
Mm-hmm. So I see what's behind you. Can you explain a little bit more about what you have and
Yes, I've been teasing you guys. So thanks for sticking with us here. What I have behind me is this is called an engine guard. It's also called a crash bar. We don't like to use that term. The purpose of this bar, as it's installed on most motorcycles, is to prevent the motorcycle if it were to tip over, not at a high speed, let's say in a parking lot, and it happens. Maybe your foot hits some sand or something. If the motorcycle falls over, it doesn't fall all the way over. It's much easier to pick it up with one of these guys. So um, a lot of the larger touring bikes have something like this in different configurations. This happens to be a Harley Davidson one. And so what I've done is you can see the lights here that I've put on here. We show this. This is one of our demos where you can put your lights here or here. You don't need four. And this is where we mount the lights. This is facing forward. So as you're driving your car, this is what you're going to be looking at, right? The front
mm,
wheel is right here. So as you're going down the road as a motorcyclist and you need some more visibility, um, we mount a handlebar button on your left hand grip. Again, any motorcycle. It's right there. It's always at the ready. You just sit there and you just push the button when you need it. Um, so I'm going to go ahead and kind of show you what happens here. This is a momentary operation. This is the amber color. So let's say you're driving down the road and you see that coming at you. Our goal is to get your attention. Um, we don't need to stay on it. That's why it's momentary. If every motorcycle had this going on, people would no longer see it. They become used to it. So our goal is to get a splash of attention when needed and then drop away. Once they see the motorcycle, generally, they're gonna identify the motorcycle's presence and then behave hopefully accordingly. I also
mm,
have them in white, and it's the same principle. White, it just kind of depends on the color that you like. Also, the laws. Anywhere you're using these systems, we don't encourage anybody to break any laws, but we can't keep track of the laws everywhere, as you can well imagine, because we do stuff. They're all over the world. Um, Try keeping track of that in every city, state, municipality. So our position as a company is know your laws, don't break any laws. Um, Kind of like gun control, know when you can use it, where you can use it, and what the limits are. That's really your responsibility as an owner. That's the best advice I can give my customers. If you're
mm.
in a situation where you don't think that it's going to be illegal and get you into trouble, I would suggest not using it, or at least not where it's illegal in your place. But um, a lot of people look at it. What our customers tell us, it's kind of risk versus reward. They're willing to do a momentary flash of light just to be seen. And then if it comes down to ultimately a judge will render the decision whether it's legal or not. And so, that's that risk versus reward. But again, I have to tell you, don't break any laws. I'm not encouraging you to do that. We don't do red or blue. We do the amber and we do the white. Um, we can do red and blue on undercover police vehicles. Some Patriot Guard riders are certified to do like funeral escorts and things. Some of those guys.
Mm.
So we can only do red and blue for the people that have the credential to do so. But everybody else,
I
it's
see.
amber and white.
So we just had another question from Scott Powell. He asks, can your product be used on off-road bikes and quads?
It can. The product can be used in any application. In fact, it's funny because we get some people in the automotive like, can I put it on my car? I That's not our market. Our market is pretty much the momentary visibility off-road vehicle. Our patent coverage handles everything from literally wheelchairs, snowmobiles, side by sides, all the power sports industry, motorcycles, pretty much anything that's in that area, we can install them on. Now, keep in mind, our lights don't light up the road. So if you're in your sand rail or your quad and you want to go light up the sand dunes, this is not your product. This is a product to make you seen so people identify you.
Mm-hmm. Uh, I'm curious, Judd. So, are there any other markets that your product can translate to?
Like in terms of the automotive industry, or
In terms of the automotive, or say, so you mentioned police force, or do you have customers, any current customers in police? Um,
yes, we right now, as I mentioned, we're installing them on the police vehicles for the Chandler Police Department. They currently ride the Honda ST 1300 motorcycles, and they're in the middle of switching those motorcycles out, I believe, for BMW. So we're kind of midstream on that project. But in terms of other vehicles, you bet. I mean, other police departments, if they're interested in the technology, or just having us come out and do a little a demonstration for you guys, I think you'll find value in it. Loss prevention, risk mitigation. We want to minimize the risk for your officers.
mhm.
And then we also have some other projects that are outside of the motorcycle power sports realm. But I reserve to not talk about that right now because we're currently entering those markets as well. And
Right.
so the product has extreme value in cross markets as well. Um, I will tell you, we also have a rear flashing system because that kind of is one of the questions. And in fact, this product, which we call Flashback, is the result of several customers saying, "Do you have anything for the rear? We love your front systems. I mean, those are crazy. Do you have something for the back? Because I'm always afraid of getting rear-ended." And statistically, you're less likely to get rear-ended, but it's still kind of a creepy feeling when someone's
Hmm.
coming up behind you. Again, if you ride, you're looking in your mirrors, and you always want that escape plan. Leave yourself maybe a car length ahead of you, and know if you're going to go left or go right if you see somebody, screaming in behind you that's not going to stop. Texting and
Mhm.
distracted driving is a huge, huge problem. And I know Tempe has now started a new policy that I think in 3 months they'll activate about no texting. Um, I believe in that. I believe that distracted driving is a huge problem, and it just gets worse and worse. So our goal here with
Mhm.
these lights is to try to get the attention of the driver that's doing things he or she shouldn't, um, maybe trying to capture their peripheral vision. So if they're not say they're looking down at their phone and driving, we want to get them to notice us. And it is human nature to look at flashing lights, and so that's where we find this extremely valuable. So again, we talked about the front ones. I've got the back one here. I'm going to change the camera angle just a little bit so you can see our rear one.
Sure.
Our customers kept saying, "What do you got for the back? What do you got for the back?" And so voila, we made one. And what this one does, I'll just turn it over here. You guys can see that okay? This is the back fender of a motorcycle. And this is, let me turn it on real quick. So that's what you see when the guy
Wow.
is near a traffic light. Now, when he hits his brakes, we have a system. Did you see the brake light? This brake light comes on. That's the standard motorcycle. This is us. This is our new product. So when a motorcyclist hits their brakes, the brake light comes on, and so does flashback. And you can see the difference in brightness. What we're doing is we're giving a 1-second blast of light just to notify the driver. But do you notice that it goes away all by itself, but the brake light stays lit? We do this because we want to get their attention and drop away. We don't want to be a big distraction. And I'll tell you, the camera angle that I have right now, it's even brighter than that. It's quite bright, but I can't get the perfect angle here. And it gets better with distance. If you're 100 feet or a quarter mile behind this thing, you can't miss it. So that's our flashback product, and we install those on the police motorcycles as well. While we're turning camera angles, let me go ahead and rotate a little bit more, and I will show you. This is our trigger button that goes on. So you're buzzing down the road on your motorcycle, right? Normally your hands are just on the hand grips, just doing this. If you feel a threat, you just reach over and you hit the button. And when you hit the button, that energizes that front lighting system. So our front system is activated by the rider, we'll say consciously as needed. The back system is activated by the rider automatically. You never even think about it because every time you hit your brake, the brake causes that light to work. So this button here is very universal. It mounts to the hand grip. You notice it doesn't interfere with any of the motorcycle controls. It goes right over the grip, kind of like a ring, and you can mount this here. You can adjust it left to right. This is the answer to being a universal fit, and it's kind of sleek and neat looking. So the button, you'll notice, is very big. If you have a hand grip or you're driving in cold weather, you can still reach that. Oh, that's about a dime or nickel-sized button. Our goal is to have you keep your hands on the handlebars at all times and also keep your eyes straight ahead. The last thing I want you to do is to be looking down, fumbling around for a switch that's hard to find. So ergonomically, our systems are, we take that into effect as well.
That's great. So we do have, I'm sorry, what?
I was just going to say, I know it's a lot of technical information, but I'm trying to help you understand exactly what we're doing and our mission here, which is saving the lives of motorcyclists. I think we do a pretty good job with it.
Oh, yeah. No, I can definitely see that, and I'm sure our viewers can too. You've done a great job. We have a question from, it looks like Vince Giovannini. Let me put this question up. Are there any strategic partnerships that you're looking for or have developed?
We are at that stage right now. We've been at this about 2 years. We're completely self-funded. We are zero debt. So we're in a position right now to take on any kind of strategic partnerships or, let's say, some seed money. I don't think we're quite ready for a VC round yet. So our initial seed funding would be good. Angel investors or strategic partners, anybody that might be interested, you bet. I can be reached. I'll just give you my contact info. My email is judd, Judd, at getlightningstrike.com. So that's Judd, Judd, at get, lightningstrike.com. You can also call me on my cell phone, which I answer, believe it or not. That's area code 480-209-9764. Again, 480-209-9764. Love to hear from you. If you have ideas, we're open to ideas, suggestions. That's how we grow. That's how Flashback got started.
Perfect. Thanks, Judd. That was a great question. Next, we have one from Dana Birchman. She asks, what do you like best about doing business in Gilbert?
It's interesting because all of our stuff, with the exception of that little black button, is made in Gilbert. We have all our machining work done here. All the lights are done here. I like Gilbert. Gilbert is it's a good, friendly town, but still it has that small town feel. If I want to meet with customers, there's countless restaurants in downtown Gilbert. It's just a good place to be. I love it. It's warm. Gilbert has been very good for us, and we do business here. We're local here. We're proud to say that we're from here. We do shows across the U.S. I just got back from Orlando, and people are hearing about Gilbert. They're like, "Where are you from?" And my first answer is generally the Phoenix area because you never know who you're talking to. But I've been throwing it out there. I'm like, "We're from Gilbert, Arizona." "Oh yeah, I've heard of that place. That's pretty cool." So I think Gilbert is upcoming, and I think they're doing a lot of great things with the city. It's growing. It's got a great image. It's friendly. It's warm. So that's what I like about Gilbert.
Mm-hmm. That's great. And that's great feedback too. I'm glad to hear that a lot of people are, starting to know about Gilbert and across the country too. So Judd, it looks like we're about to near the end of our session, but what else have we not covered that you want to get across to our viewership or our audience?
There's so many things I could go to. I just, my thoughts would be, if you know of someone in your life, friend, family, whatever, that's into motorcycling, it's a great sport. It's a dangerous sport. There's an inherent risk in riding a motorcycle. But if you know somebody, share this with them. We have a Facebook page, and that Facebook's a great place for that social media and that real time. But let them know about what we do. If you're with if you know of someone that's in a municipality that might be able to use our products, um, you know, maybe share that with them. We'd love to sit down and talk with them. Again, our whole goal here is to save lives, and we know we're doing that, and we want to do more.
That's great. Sorry about that little
That's
distraction
okay.
there. Oh, okay. Well, Judd, it's been such a pleasure talking with you, and I'm so happy we were able to do this. If you had your email address, you mentioned your phone number. We will also send out a few more um, additional details for people if they want to get a hold of you at some point.
Perfect.
That way, people can still follow up. What is your Facebook, and you have a Twitter page too? Is that right?
Right. Facebook is facebook.com/getlightningstrike.
Okay.
Our Twitter is at GetLitNow. It's kind of a fun little. We've learned with this business that we can have fun little business taglines that get people's attention. Like, have you been cut off lately? If that's what you're seeing, that you're wondering what that means. What that means is, yeah, people cut you off all the time. We do Instagram and Pinterest too. Not a whole lot of Pinterest. That seems to be more for scrapbooking. That's my generalization. But yeah, you can find us through all your social media outlets. I do need to also say that I couldn't be running this company without my darling wife, Carla. She has been instrumental in this every step of the way. And she she is strong in support. She is a person I can bounce information off of. She gives me real good advice. Doesn't tell me what she thinks I want to hear. We work this company together organically, and it's so much fun to watch it grow. And if you're interested in starting a company, and hey, do it in Gilbert. It's easy, it's fun, and don't be afraid to start your company because a lot of wonderful things can happen. But in the meantime, everybody, I'd like to just tell you to ride safe and be seen. And please look twice for motorcycles. The weather's getting better, and you're going to see more
Mhm.
motorcycles on the road. And let's give these guys and girls a break, okay?
That's great. And just a quick, fun fact, if you will. One of our uh, viewers wants to know what kind of motorcycle you ride.
It is a Go Pet. I'm just kidding. It is a Harley Davidson's Road Glide, which is if people know Harleys, that's what that is. It's a large cruiser type bike.
Great. Perfect. Well, Judd, thank you again. This has been a great session. And audience, you know how to get a hold of Judd. So feel free to reach out to him and feel free to watch this video. We're going to post it on YouTube and it's going to be out there for the world. So
Great.
thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming. Ride safe and be seen.
Thanks.